Subscribers, welcome once again the continuation of my screencast. The screencast was I already discussed about the DevOps with the continuous integration, continuous deployment process, how it is be handled or how it is be done by a Docker and Docker Compose based deployment process. So even I had another screencast like how can you deploy the application with the standalone jar based deployments, and also how can you deploy the application with the Docker and Kubernetes based deployments. So this is the another screencast that's like I already did some screencast about these projects, like how can you make some REST API implementations, and also do the configuration with the respective database migration tools like the Flyway. In that case, this is the case of Flyway case. I have another one that's for the liquid based case, database migration. So today we will discuss. We already discussed about the project structure, and today I will discuss a little bit more about the implementations, and also some part of the recover or recap again the how can you integrate the database migration scripts based on your model definitions, and how can you configure your OpenAPI, the Swagger UI API, Swagger UI configuration and implementations. That's I will discuss today more detail about that ones. If you saw that the Swagger UI, see the Swagger, we are using Swagger 9.1.2.7 versions, and all the implementation, all the description about the Swagger, your REST API documentation or REST API document generations. That's everything is properly plotted. So we'll discuss together how it is be done and how it is be handled together. So even though I have some the Postman test, you also discuss the Postman test. How can you globally set these Postman environmental variables, and then those variables can be export and import the test cases. Then testing department can run the same test as you have in as a developer testing functionalities or test coverages for the developer side, and they also we will put the same test to the testing team. Then they can simply import the test cases and do their test function. They do the same test that you have it. That's how we'll do together. So let's go back to the development. That's I already said. I had some another screencast about the exactly same structure, like how can only the difference between the two migration tools. Like this project I already use here the Flyway based liquid based database migrations, and today I will discuss the Flyway based database migration integrations. So you see, let's have a start our model part, the implementation part that's we already discussed. Then we will go to the other part of the descriptions files. So you see, we have defined the models, all the model definition that we have. So all the model, it has all the entity model, entity annotation, it has a tables names, and it has the specific the sequence generation, the custom sequence generations. If you look for this custom sequence generation script, user registration, the sequence generations, the customized sequence. This is a professional way how can you generate the sequence and then call the sequences to insert your record into the database. So, and then this is the sequences we will define in the migration script. I will show you how it is done. So you see, the customized sequences, it has it's a name, new names, not ID. It has a user registration ID, and then we go to the every columns definition or columns level with the perfect with our script definition. So we have a model definitions, and we have user profile, user role definitions. You see exactly the user role definition. It has also the customized sequence generation number, and then it has also all the levels informations, and then it has a profiles, user profile informations, and also the user detail informations. So if you go to the in the mapping section, so if there's a user registrations, the online user registration process, it has the own information, all attribute entities, and it has one-to-one mapping with the user registration profile objects. So you see the patch type lazy and cascade type all, then the map by user registration object itself, and then it is one-to-one map with the user registration profiles. So you can see the user registration profile tables, and it has own sequence ID generations and has own attribute and properties with the additional information. Then also one-to-one map. This is bidirectional mapping with the user registration objects. So it is just very straightforward and standard ORM mappings with the with your relational table structure or your table structure. That's I think I will define the later part of the development. So if I go to the user profiles, user profiles objects, so it is, they see the user profile object. It has one-to-one related with the user registration objects. So it has a join columns, and then it's a foreign key, and then the name of the foreign key generations. That is exactly what we have it into our sequence generator. So I will show you this part, how can you map together. Let's finish the model part. So user profiles, we are user profiles. Yes, user profiles, it has a name and it's one-to-one link with the user registration. And if you go to the user registrations and user registration detail objects, it has its own tables, it has all the properly annotated, it has own sequence generations and injected the sequence generations, and then it has the documents for the passport and national ID, the image or JPG image or birth certificate, national bad tax IP image number. It's the requirement from your end clients. They said, and they have the user has need to be divided is a profile information, maybe other objects. That's we did it here, but no, don't put it everything into the single object definition, because if you one object has a 50 columns or 50 row attributes, it doesn't make more sense to maintain those bigger tables or bigger objects models. So that's why we put it I put it like this, the major part of the user registrations, more focus in the username and user password, and it is linked to the user registration profile, the additional information with saving the columns tables, saving the columns or attribute into the different tables, the user registration profile tables, and it's linked to the one-to-one link to the user registration profiles. And user detail, exactly the same things we are doing here. It's a many-to-one, so maybe one-to-many related. So you see the definition of the many-to-one related is a patch type lazy, and then optional false, and it has a join columns and foreign key definition, name of the foreign key levels. So it has a one many-to-one, so that means one user has a multiple one-to-many user registration details, means one-to-many, maybe passport number, maybe national IDs or health certificate or other certification. That's why it is linked to the one-to-many related information. Unidirectional linking between. That's one. Those are new into the ORM mapping or JPA mapping. Just Google it and get a basic understanding. Then you can get clear picture what you can do, how can you do it. So let's continue the further